Hi CJ, hi Star. Can you guys hear me? I have a new mic on. So yesterday after my
It's
PC
me,
disappeared. Oh, Jessica.
Jessica. I'm in here.
Hi Ronnie, I missed your laugh. I need more whimsy Justin in my life. Well, we're about to play Sims. My PC literally went kaput yesterday and I don't know what happened, so I let it alone. I actually redid my whole setup. I cleaned my PC for the first time in a while. And then in that process, unfortunately, my mic broke, so I'm using a different mic today. I don't know if I sound any different. Maybe I won't break out as much because it's a newer mic.
Thank you.
Ronnie!
You love
Everyone
me.
clap for Ronnie.
You
You
really
really
love
love
me.
me. Thank you for the resub for 4 months. Okay, with the Prime sub. I see with your little crown. How are you, Ronathan? Don't worry, you're here now. I'm in a meeting, but I had to check in, period. Well, we're gonna be live, so hopefully your meeting ends soon so you can come hang out. Damn, Ronnie, 47 times. Your flower badge? Let's go. Tell me what it is. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that badge existed. Guys, there was a huge Pokopia announcement. We're getting a DLC, guys. If you thought we were done with Pokemon content, you're sadly mistaken. Because Pokopia is getting a huge update. We're getting Dive, so we're gonna be able to go underwater. And wait, that's not it. We're getting 3 new maps. 3 new maps. Isn't that insane? Holy shit, 3 new maps. What it is, what it is. What it is, what it is. Uh, 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 uh. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. They also announced a few other games for Nintendo. Mira el Pocopia. um, Hi. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Not you. You can choke. I We're gonna play Sims. We're gonna actually get into it. We're gonna get a man. We're gonna get a man. We're probably gonna try to get pregnant today. And yeah, maybe we'll upgrade the house a bit. Well, maybe we'll learn. We'll find a man and get pregnant and an ant and try to get along in our mischief thing. Because honestly, we're so far in our scientist's career with our heir that I kind of just want to focus on like making her mischievous this per stream. Guys, why was my finger all silly like this? Okay, can we talk about coffee mugs? Do we have to hold them like this? Because this doesn't feel right. Can we talk about coffee mugs? This doesn't feel right. My knuckle does not fit in there. Right? Or is it like this? That's weird. Why do only 2 of my fingers fit in there? Should I hold it like this? This feels comfortable. Ronathan, how are you feeling today? How are you doing? How are you doing? I hope you're not too busy. Is school almost over for the kiddos? Justin is secretly a giant. That's what it is. How did you know? My secret is out. Shit. Love it. How it looks in a day. Momo, love this song. Me too. Momo, ¿cómo está, Momo? Welcome in. I miss you so much, Momo. Momo, can we hang out? When can we hang out, Momo? When can I have some Momo time? My bones, no, family money in. We need to hang out. I miss you too. Mwah. I hope you're doing okay. Besitos. Like literally, I haven't seen Momo and I haven't hung out with Momo in a long time. Well, hello. Hey, Charlie. Hey, Cutie. What's up? Everyone, get your fucking check-ins. Don't make me say it again. Hi, Star. Welcome in. Like ages, mind you. Stop avoiding me, Ronnie. But Momo, you're avoiding us. Punch me. Okay. Charlie, I'm so happy to see you here. Okay, we're gonna get started. All right. We're in our game. Let's go see how Leilani's doing. We're gonna find a man. We're gonna get Pregnant. Is that a sleeping Umbreon? It is. We found it at Walmart. You have the sleeping Espeon? Okay, I almost bought. First of all, I'm obsessed with Umbreon. Umbreon is literally. I'm gonna get an Umbreon tattoo soon. Like I want to. And I almost bought both of them just because they were so cute together. Okay, girl, it's 2 a.m. You're not eating food. You're going to bed. Let's reset her. We like naming our pets and animals after people in chat, so we have some chickens that we need to name. Oh, all my chickens are dead. We have one hen, one rooster left. Oh, this food is nasty. My losing game. Alright, 428. Let's empty the bowl. And then let's clean out the spoiled food. Guys, when I play Sims, it's honestly me being like, do chores the whole time. Do chores, do chores, do chores. We're just gonna have her eat like something quick. How about an acai bowl? That's fine. Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? What is that plate doing there? Why'd she change her clothes? What is he eating? No. Fuck. He threw up. Shit. Not the raccoon eating old food from the floor. Sorry, girl. You can't eat acai bowl. You have to clean up that mess before he eats it. In my living room. Hi, Ark. Welcome in. Mama, I threw up. Like, literally, I throwed up. How's everybody doing today? Sorry my whole stream, like, just pooped on me yesterday. I got pooped on. But hopefully today seems to be running great. Like, OBS is not flipping out. You can hear the game today.
Slarfa! Taro!
Blarfa! Hey, yo, Blarfa, come here. Come eat some food. We do have a pet raccoon. Oh, she's happy because we have clean clothes on. Maybe she needed to wake up at 2 a.m. to do all these chores. Sorry for abandoning us at the bus stop. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for leaving you guys behind. Alright, she's eating her acai bowl. Let's speed it up a little. Chickens are awake. Chickens are awake. Do we have a name for this chicken? Let's name the white rooster. Who wants to be named the white rooster? First person to say me gets it. No one at all. Roxy Andrews. Yeah, literally Ark. This place is so cute. Yeah, we love our little beach home. So Charlie, we're doing a not so berry challenge for Sims. So it's like a legacy generation challenge, and I wanted her to be like a mad scientist, like ecologist, somebody who liked studying like animals. Pinche Rossi. Me, okay, Ark's the white cock. Oh, not her breaking the sink, girl. Repair. Why are you? Her speed walk is funny. Okay, we have. Oh, we also have a butterfly garden. So as we unlock butterflies, we can place them in the world. So I kind of have them in her greenhouse. I thought that would be a cute touch. They do kind of like clip outside, but I don't really care. It's a Sims. Let's water all. Let's spray area for bugs. No weeding. And then we'll sell. Sell all. She's also like kind of an avid gardener. Her fish aren't awake. Is the other chicken up? The other chicken's up. The black hen. Who wants to be the hen? Say me if you want to be a hen. Hi, Allie. Welcome back. Yes, now you can help us be ridiculous in Sims. Me. Okay, Momo's the black hen. Momo. Momp.
I love you, bitch.
Oh my god, thank you.
I
for
ain't
the
gonna
gifted
never
sub
stop
to
loving you,
Momo.
bitch.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for the gifted. Better than the white cock that Ark is. Yeah, true. So I'm a white cock, but Momo could be a hen. Thank you so much for the gifted to Momo. Ali, you're so generous. My generous queen. Guys, we're raising funds for the Trevor Project today. Today is our final day for the fundraiser. Every week this month, we're doing a fundraiser, trying to get to $500 for each of these causes. The Trevor Project is an organization dedicated to ending suicide in suicide amongst gay youth, or queer youth. So please consider donating or spreading the information. Anybody, anybody can share that information and tell people that this resource exists. Next weekend, we'll be raising money for Courage Plus, an organization local to my city. And then, yeah, hopefully, if we meet our goal of $500 for any of the fundraisers, I will be hosting a 12-hour stream. So that's something to look forward to if we do meet our goal for any of these fundraisers. But it's no pressure, and I'd love to stream for you guys like much longer. I said me for the white chicken. I was bamboozled. The white cock. It's so funny. Not Ark screaming for white cock. Don't view the dirt frog, okay? Collect eggs. And then scatter feed. We don't really need to be friends. We're really bad at the chickens. They all hate her. Ooh, we got a special egg. Let's see. Let's repair that. Not hatchable. This can go here. It's a green egg. What do we do? Can we make green eggs and ham? I'm gonna put it in there. Mop like mad. Fill bowl. Look at our little raccoon. He's so cute. Oh, it's Sunday, so we don't have work. Okay, let's get our groove on. Let's go find a man. She's just chilling because we don't have work today. So that's good. Oh, she never sold the flowers. Can we water these, girl? David Nunez. Quick question. Alika can't. I won't even try to butcher it. Don't worry. I can't read, guys. I never learned. And did. Just hooting and hollering. Y'all, do I order Wingstop for lunch? Okay, Wingstop. I think they use Purdue chicken, but you do you, boo. I love Wingstop. Mission activated. Find some hot scientist trade. Yeah, we're gonna find some baddies. We're gonna try to find a man today. We're spending some casual friend time together. To be honest, I'm not too sure. I love being like skeptical of people. Everyone get Wingstop. Big activities, if it were. Oh, handiness level 3. Let's go, girl. She is handy. We love our little Leilani. Casual friend time. Yeah. Wait. Oh. That kind of friend time. Should we go tanning? Let's tan. Or should we... Let's talk to Ark. Let's see. ask if evil chickens are coming. Let's ask Ark if evil chickens are coming. Do you think he's gonna go into the coop? Watch. Oh, oh, Ark thinking about cupcakes. Samaria Hawata. Hey Leilani, I feel like trying something new and exciting. Something like changing careers. What do you think? You should follow your heart. We don't have anything fun here, so I love hearing what everyone else is eating. Oh, wow. What's like the best fun food you have, Allie, like near you? The emote help. It literally, like, what is that? What is he rubbing on? I don't like it. Oh, she wants to scissor. Yeah, she was like, so scissor sisters, huh? Yeah, so this is a home that was on the lot already. Like, this is like part of the game. Look at how pretty her house is. I made this greenhouse, like, very simple. And then this is a build, and then she has a canoe. I think this is cute. We shrunk the house a little bit. Ooh, flea market. Wait, maybe we should go to the flea market. Would the flea market be fun? Let's go to the flea market today. Is she eating? I guess. I guess she's hungry. I'll let her eat. I'm going to put the laundry away. I'll let her eat real food. I don't know what it is. Is it soup? It is soup. You know what? We're going to buy food at the flea market. I forget. Send everyone home. Who's home? Who's in my house? Who's on my property? Who am I going to scream at? Maybe we can, like, be mischievous at the flea market. Stretch. It's fall, so it's going to be a little chilly. Here, let's change outfit. And then let's travel. Hot local trade at the flea market. Yeah, on a discount at that, you know? I love the song too. Where is San Myshuno? And the flea market. It's so good. I think it's here. Yeah. The kid is so good. A dream. Imagine living there. That's so cute. She wants to try a new career. Everything is like 20 minutes more away. Oh, it's local Mexican. Ooh. I'm obsessed with honey chipotle chicken. Ooh. I love Chipotle. Chipotle here is so gross. Do you guys find that like fast food restaurants in different places is gross? Look at her. Wait. Tell me my girl isn't a baddie. Like, look at her. She's like, and I'm here to cause ruckus. Okay, we need to pull 10 pranks and achieve level 6 mischief. We're at level 3. So I think we're gonna try to do some of that here. It's 10:44. Let's talk to all these humans. Who looks like the person we want to look at this queen. Look at this queen. We have to be her friend. That is a queen. She is done up. You know what I like to do on my spare time is literally go through Hat Guy. Oh, easy. Let's see, more choices. I wish it wasn't mean. Let's do funny. Also, what the wig on this guy is crazy. And Hat Girl. You know what? Hat Guy and Hat Girl, y'all could get it. Howdy. Howdy introduction. Wait. I always go into cast and I change the townies because I hate the way that Sims are randomized in this game. I like to put all my cheats on. And go like I would literally go in and edit all these people because like what? Okay, Queen, look at this is just in time for Pride. All right, Nigel. Zoom in on green shirt guy. Where is green shirt guy? Oh, oh. I still can't stop looking at this guy. That wig, the wig is crazy. Trade. It's giving Professor Trade. Hold on. Okay, Marcel. Hey, Marcel. Here, we'll do a romantic introduction. We're still looking for a man. And then let's do a Hey Queen introduction to this guy. Friendly. You know what? I'm kind of okay with all this. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how they receive her.
Bueno.
Oh. Oh. Everyone's taking their places. I guess I never clicked on the old man. Hold on, where'd he go? Oh, I know her. We're friends.
Zuma Forb. Sibawum
Oleana.
West Brainham.
She has a wife and all that.
Panay.
Uh-huh.
Goby Gob.
Alright. Stop talking to me, girl.
Ah.
Oh.
Orochi.
Shared
Torquay.
sadness. Wait, why are you
Shucks,
sad,
Zoo.
friend? Hold on,
Huh?
let's figure it out. Hug.
So.
Deep
God.
conversation.
Venorba KB Sibo.
Floopy.
Floopy.
Oh, and Fora.
Professor Trade. Wait, let's go talk to Professor Trade. Wait, where'd he go? Where'd he go? Professor Trade.
Oh, yes.
Right here. Believe it or not, I got the job. I don't believe it, girl. I'll believe it when I see it. Maybe we could buy some furniture too. And who's this? Penny Pizzazz. I know you. You're a townie. This couch is huge. What's over here? Some trinkets? A voodoo doll. I want to buy that. Oh, she's a salesperson. All right, Celeste. I see you. Okay, but we're still not talking to Professor Trade.
Shefflin.
Can we go there now?
Hooray, Shefflin.
All right. Come up to Professor Trade. Oh. Hey. Oh, he is high and steamy for me. Oh, I don't know what I just did. Oh. Awkward encounter. Ask if single. Let's see. Oh, I'm cold.
So.
Sul. She's known to lie. Yeah. Here, we'll have to do some mischief. Here. Prank.
Ooh, keep that down.
After due date. Shit. We're about to be so messy. Knittable contribution. Yeah, I donated my knitting, my crochet. Did we learn if he's single or not? Oh! He's married to Janae. You know what? Let's not break a marriage. Let's not break a marriage. But we'll keep you in a Rolodex in case something happens. Read the room.
Nagazi.
Oh! The way she just gives up. What are we watching? Oh! Can I heckle him? Girl, why are you so distracted? Oh, order food. What are you gonna order? Here, let's order food. Let's get a banh mi. Oh wait, no, she's vegetarian. No banh mi. No banh mi. No banh mi. No banh mi. You're vegetarian. No banh mi. No, you're vegetarian. Don't eat that. 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 Don't. No! She's gonna be upset because she ate meat. Yes. Mauricio Luna. Okay, Mauricio. Guys. There's a lot happening. I'm over. I'm overstimulated. Okay. Break the marriage. The pie panic is real. She ate fucking banh mi. No, I got hungry for myself. I was like, ooh, banh mi sounds kind of good. And then I forgot she's vegetarian. Okay, wait. So Mauricio, oh, his phone call went away. His text went away. Mauricio is the guy we've been flirting with. So he's the guy that we've sort of like flirted with, been kissy with. She literally has the tainted with meat. And she's cold. Okay, wait. Let's change her clothes then. I don't want her to die of cold. Let's order food. Here, let's order curry. Maybe this will make you feel better. Okay, baddie, look at this fit. She is so cozy. So the theme for people who are just like I think Charlie hasn't really seen a lot of this and stuff. She is based on the color green, like mint. So all of her fits are mint. Like the house has a lot of green in it. Oh, it's spicy for her. All right, let's start harassing this girl. Prank. Scare. Actually, let's do it with this queen too. Hold on. I'm gonna be rude. I'm gonna be like, girl, what is this wig?
And a Zook Niara. It's the bed.
Where is she going? She just ran in a circle. Girl, where are you going? Where are you going?
Come away.
Watch
Oh, Toonie shoes.
Bro, your hair is ugly, girl. You need to get it back. Unpleasant conversation, period. Okay, that's it. It's a wrap.
Kel Mifla, Beckin Wishun.
Who? Rip his wig off.
Colin Jimjoy.
The way I was trying to do hand buzzer pranks with people and they lived. The fact that Green Shirt Trade didn't slap it out of her hand, literally, that's suspicious. Oh, he liked that. Why do they owe it? Oh my god, already at the shove. Scare. I'm just gonna keep doing pranks to try to get that thing done.
Stevie.
And still with false confidence. Girl, you're really, that hair is it. She is evil. She is evil. Okay, we're at 4 out of 10 pranks. We're gonna keep doing pranks. I just want to get that done. We're just gonna stand it. Girl, why are we so rude? 3 strangers we just met.
Lohane Kabul Espa Scoob.
He's a good sport.
Vinva Pomeray Moochie Peach.
The curry is too spicy. They're happy. It's an unpleasant conversation. They can't stand me, but it's fine. I'm gonna ask her to do day again. 3 more. We need 3 more. It's the way we laugh. I'm just gonna be rude to the both of them. Joke about body hair, that is so rude. Sorry, that's triggering. I'm not gonna do that to him. Pretend to be slapped. Oh my god, that's new. Let's see. She was like, you slapped me, girl. She is so stupid. Okay, wait, there's like a public bathroom. She needs to pee. Where's the potty? Usually it's off the lot, but I can't find it. Hold on. She's just chatting. I'm gonna let her chat for a little bit. Make some friends. There's usually like a public restroom on the lot. Anyway. Somebody else is playing music. Okay, bro, you better. Did we complete it though? We did. We got the 10 planks. Okay, we just have to get to level 6. You know what? I'm kind of done talking to you all. Back to the mission at hand. Finding a man. Okay. There are no options here. People were buying shit though. What did she get? Oh, she tipped her. Okay, she's being nice.
Garsha, Thar, Zoot, Zoot.
Ooh, Lumpia. All of that is not vegetarian.
That's all you need now.
Should we just go home? Wait, I kind of want to be friends with this queen. Hold on. The way that they're actually friends. Let's do friendly interaction.
Freaking Sir Pow.
Oh, she really has to pee. No, there's no time for that, girl. You have to go home.
Harble?
Oh, there were lamps here. Dang, I kind of like this too. Oh, well. Oh, not the hookah. Hookah out on the patio? Oh, he's feeling them. Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, awesome. Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate you, Charlie, for being here. No way, he just slapped her, like, literally. Bro, what is this verse? If you're gonna pee your pants, do it at home. No, literally. W hookah. We love hookah. I actually really like. I haven't had a hookah, like, done hookah in, like, a year. 2 years? I used to live for hookah. The way she just changes out of her clothes because she's in the water. Alright, well, we're back home. Maybe we invite our man here. Wait, are people hanging out on this beach? No, nobody's hanging out on the beach. Nobody's hanging out on the beach. This is a bar? Should we go to the bar? Is this the girl we have beef with? It is. This girl, we have beef with her. We have beef. Beef. Look at that. Look at this bar. Beef. Enemies. Despised. Yeah, fuck her. She's evil anyway. We don't want to be a friend. Like a mouth do. We haven't showered today, but honestly, let's go boating. Oh. Let's go boating. Who's this? Who's this? Is that Bae? Is this Bae? Is this a potential Bae? Could be. We have talked to him before. Who's this? He's an elder. Wait. He's going to the beach, so maybe we can meet him over there. We're just gonna have options, you know what I mean? Little canoe. Maybe let's just boat over here. Paddle here. I love just like watching her do stuff. And she's kind of fit, you know what I mean? Oh, voodoo doll, let's see. We can bind, let's bind this voodoo doll to our enemies. Hi Ryan, welcome in. Thank you for the check-in. Thank you for all the shout-outs. Oh, so you're making me work. Can we get one for Charlie too? Everyone get your check-ins. A dolphin! That was fun. Ryan, how are you doing this morning? I'm sorry for not... Oh! Oh wait, can we bind it? Can we bind it? Can we bind it to her? Bind to? Hell yeah. I'm gonna bind that voodoo doll to her. The dolphin's coming to say hi. Wait, where is she? Where did we go? Girl, where did we go? What? We just got spawned here? That is crazy. Let's collect eggs. Can we clean? No, clean. Yeah. So that didn't work. We got bugged out and we got teleported back home. They said, you're not allowed. Sorry, I didn't hear. Who? Charlie, gay criminal X. It's not mods, only for the shoutouts. It's not. It's not mods only. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Ryan. Okay, I guess we're not meant to meet anyone new today. She never sold any of this, by the way. Oh, evolve all. Let's go. Sell all. And water all.
Shirobi! Shorg!
Water all.
Haha.
Why can't I sell?
Sinikay!
It's not letting me sell anything. There you go.
Kiorba! Bayumo!
Why is it not letting me do it?
Kaneka! Jorby!
Why is she stuck? Why can't she do it?
Huh. Gibbs!
Oh,
Ishinoi! Sinikay! Sawada!
I don't know why that's not working all of a sudden, but... Let's try this again.
Kaneka!
Girl, then why are you even going inside the house? I think it's the butterfly mat. Hold on. Let's get everything much closer. There you go. Even though it's clipping. Alright, let's see if that worked. Hi Ninja, what's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome in. We're just playing some Sims today. We're raising money for the Trevor project. No pressure to donate. Just letting you know what we're raising money for today. How you doing? How you been? Dude, I've been lurking your streams. I've been living for your titles. It's just like just here, part 5. I find it so funny. Wow, I could have been hooting and hollering this whole time. Yeah, of course. It's only the quote one that doesn't work for folks. Okay, fine. We got it right. We got it worked. We got it worked. It's working. It's working. Now she can reach it. We just have to move it over. Lies. Yeah. You caught up. You caught up. The way I want to invite my man to the house, but it's 9 o'clock and she has work tomorrow. Let's just go to bed. Actually, she's not even tired. Maybe we do invite her man to the house. Are there people hanging out at the beach? Unless we go to the bar. Here, maybe we go to the bar. Yeah, let's go there. That's so funny, bro. My titles crack me up too. I mean like part 7. I'm like just trust me, the titles, I never know what to do for titles. How you been, Ninja? How has stream been?
Crimson.
Oh yeah, it's guys' night. Gentlemen sent. Oh, look. Okay. Look, and just like that, we can. And who is this? Oh, hey, do the stanky leg. That's what he looked like he was doing. Guys, we're about to. Not that we need to thirst over a white man, but I mean. Stop it, right?
Hey, Chabi Saba.
Ooh, he got a deep voice too.
Yes.
Hey, let's dance together. Let's dance. Let's dance.
Piffito, Vong.
Oh, that must be him. Wait. Bajurgensen. And this is Bajurgensen. Not me just fully flirting with her man at the bar.
Continue.
Dancing with him and everything.
Zaffle.
Hell yeah.
Huh? You Torba Melvin?
Oh, tell a Jim Whipsy.
There's like no music playing, by the way. At least I can't hear it. Oh, it must be licensed. Oh! Okay, you're doing a lot. You got me scared. No thanks. Asked to seductive dance. Oh! Okay, so...
Ubreg. Panish Galuma.
I know you! You're the guy from earlier!
Ah, so.
Not the bros
From
hanging out here on the
Karma
beach. Oh, absolutely no.
So.
The bros just
So.
hanging out on the beach, by the way. Also, what is he
no
wearing on the
sign.
beach?
Lovo, Ganathoy. Yeftime,
From the
Abazan.
outfit.
So.
Try to cheer up. Oh, he's the one that's
Remember.
sad.
Ha, Sul. Oh, Lampima. So,
So.
Everyone's still saying hi. It takes so long to say hi. Oh, yes! He's tweeting him. Look at that. Oh, he didn't like that. Discuss sad mood. And who this? Sul. Leave that white boy alone. Yeah, I'm gonna walk away. Oh, this is him. This is our situation. Hold on, let's talk to him.
Ushib.
Dag.
End woohoo partnership. Yeah, we're woohoo partners. But for some reason, it didn't increase our romance bar. Hey, how's it going?
Chief. So.
Lunch Chilo Jabini.
Ah,
So.
so.
He is upset.
Ah,
That's the way to hang out. Let's do that. You're still talking to that guy in front of this dude. He is upset. Look at him, he's mad. Why are you so mad, bro?
Yumbala. Nazib.
Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Peachy. Muscava. Miser. Warmba. Zerpanuch.
Let's just be nice to him for a little bit.
Hora. Defool. Perbichali. Ispaniba Whelm. Pator. Flurbe.
He must be bugged out because
Zippe.
we're not even.
Hey, boy. Pleva.
It's not even letting me talk to him. There you go.
Ah, hey, parachute.
Tell engaging story. Look, we have to raise our bar. Oh, look, he's already happy. He's just happy I finally spoke to him.
Oh.
Let's do a flirt. Let's do a hug. Let's do. Coogee. Let's kiss. Let's kiss. Let's kiss in front of all these people. We have to raise our yeah, literally. Don't forget to raise your yaya, guys.
Royalties.
Sheppies.
Oh, she's. Oh!
Lamis Poopa turd.
Ah,
Yerbies are
Anaya.
He's like, oh, you just like kissing me like that.
Oh,
Slight discontent from being unsatisfied.
Deshbo.
Bubba.
It's a shame move.
Oh, that's awkward. Let's go home, girl. It is 1 a.m. You have work tomorrow. Look at her waddle. She made it home. Oop, now he was a bag. He was like, and maybe you used too much tongue. Soul. Like, literally, she's like, ugh, I'm so burdened by the fact that the guy I'm sleeping with can't kiss me right. Now we can go to bed. It's 2:30. It went from literal 12. Oh, I guess it was 1 a.m. Let's just go to bed. And just like that, we're asleep. Chickens are awake. She's hungry. Oh, he's sick. He's sick from fucking eating that nasty food. Look, we're gonna have to take a day off because of that. Do not eat the soup. You need to call out from work. We are gonna... What are her needs? She needs to use the bathroom, take a shower, and then we can eat. She had to take a shit. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Oh, and who this? And why are you on my property? Sir, I don't think those shorts fit you, sir. Get your needs met, girl. Yeah, let's go take a shit. My thing is, if you're sleeping with him, you should know that. Maybe they don't kiss. Maybe there's no kissing involved. We have to take care of all our other things first before we go to the vet with the raccoon. Alright, we have some tasks to do. Oh, our mail's here. What are our bills looking like? $1,000? Not bad. 1,100. Oh, Roy, hello. The mailman just jumped into the beach and swam away. I mean, I'm not mad those shirts of it. Yeah, I love how people just roll and swim. Literally. I love that she literally changes into a bathing suit every time she leaves. Wait, why? Why can't you reach that? It's right there. It's definitely the butterfly thing, I think. I'm just gonna move these all closer. Actually, we don't need all of them. We could just do one of each. And then... Okay. Mailman said, I got places to go. This is the fastest way. Oh my god, she reset all of her shit. Fuck. Water all. Sell all. Nothing has weeds, right? Then We did clean, collect, feed. And then I think that should be it. And then we can take Chunky to the vet. What's wrong? Here, let's give him a big treat. Oh. She has some tasks ahead of her. There you go. And now we can play with the cat or a raccoon. Wait, where'd he go? Oh, he's eating the food out here.
So.
Brush.
Ronnie Bonil! Bimba!
Become companions and take to vet.
Jomis? Aha.
Oh.
Taru.
Did we get any hatchable eggs? No, no
Okay.
hatchable eggs. Off to the vet we go. I'm sorry, is that a pet raccoon? Yes. Well, yes, Ryan, it is a pet raccoon. Any other questions? Next question. We decided on a cat, and I think as we were making her, we were like, ooh, a raccoon makes so much sense for her. Where's the vet? Brindleton Bay. I actually made this vet clinic. I created this clinic. You got a problem? It's a young Miko. Guys, we were supposed to get pregnant today. Let's do it. We have to run and get pregnant. Alright, we're at the vet. Oh, this dog looks sick as fuck. Okay, guys, I made this vet. This is not true. I didn't make this vet clinic. Hold on. There's something not right about this place. I didn't make this. Did I not drop in my vet clinic into this world? Fuck it, YOLO. I thought this was the vet clinic I made.
Spade Impala Jonjo.
Girl, can you sign in your cat, raccoon? She's just in her bathing suit. Ew, this dog looks so sick.
Yim. Oh! Hargrave.
Oh, his
Tamoy.
Chonky is fighting with her. Great.
Arogaba.
Look at these dogs. Okay, let's see. Let's do some wellness treats. I mean, we have money to blow, you know. Let's get 10.
Hiya, boo. Yibs. Suna. For no.
It's not fair. Let's have some coffee. Let's tinker. Alright, the vet is taking the patient in. I guess we're gonna go in here. Let's go sit here.
Sarpava. Fanoy.
The way we're just in there with a fucking screwdriver messing with the coffee maker.
Alfonso.
We got him as a baby. Yeah, he was a baby and he got older already. I don't think I have aging turned on here. Hold on. I forgot to turn on aging. There you go. Oops. Alright, Chonky, hurry up. No. You can dismiss her.
Shanka Glamul.
Ew.
Yorid. Uchima. Borbahe.
Rogaba.
Shippy. Sulsul.
Fuck you. You're coming in here screaming at me.
Azakinaku.
Tribna. Blahu.
Mifflin.
Hanil.
Yibs.
Stop talking to me.
Absip.
Doyum.
Ah.
Da bus.
Chilling in his, yeah, literally just in her swimsuit at the vet. Aw, little chunky.
Frau. So Ubi.
Simona Cero? Haven't we?
David Nunez, I'm delighted you recommended. I didn't recommend. I just said, I think you should just do what you want. I was amused the entire time.
Aska! Rishabor! Fuano!
Doctor, do you know what's wrong with my raccoon? Let's do the expensive treatment. We have the
Oh,
money, you
you.
know what I mean? It's not like we're not without. Oh!
Shippy Ref C.
Oh, Chunky's feeling better. And then we can go home. Chunky.
A bene for!
Oh,
Zippa zippa
yes, our little Chunky. Most well-behaved pet ever. Literally the raccoon from
What
the
is it?
wilderness, from the trash can. Oh, they're so cute together.
Oh, LaFara.
Oh, look at her.
Elvira.
She's so sweet. Okay, girl, get out of the room. The next patient is there
Spagno.
with fleas.
Oh, was a Spagno. Ah, Rochi.
Mefwa. Fiba ifta. Jamie Hanra.
Oh, she started running. Oh. Hey, boss. I gotta take the rest of the day off after that trailer. Oh, the Kingdom Hearts trailer? I didn't get that far in the video because I wanted to start stream. Okay, now that we have the day off, let's invite our let's see who we can invite over. Actually, let's get more famous first. Let's invite okay, we have some options. Let's see. So this is who we've been sleeping with. There are we have amazing compatibility, but apparently I'm unsatisfied, which is interesting. So we also have who's the other guy we were chatting with? Oh, Rua. Look at this guy, neutral. Maybe we can invite them over. Let's invite this guy over. We're not satisfied with the other dude, and I don't want to put her through that. You know what I mean? I mean, we could stay with him and then break up with him after we've had a kid, but I don't need it. Hey, I think I have a crush on Navia. Navia's the vet. We just met her. I don't think that's a good idea. You know, on second thought, I'm not sure that's a good idea. Will he come over? He's coming. Is this him? That's not him. Oh. Look at this guy. Invite in. Let's see. Let's just fuck it. Exchange numbers, even though don't I already have his number? Discuss sad mood. Try to cheer up. Brighten day. We have to take it easy because sometimes like flirting right off the bat.
Oh, Tinkwell.
Oh, okay. Maybe we can take this conversation outside.
Crash.
Oh,
Thanka.
Where's
Flipsy Patini.
she's so sweet to him.
Sacranario, Aragaba, Benor. How have you
Why is he so sad?
Stulain? Buster Bood, Wafatun Rashim.
All right, we're gonna work him. We're gonna work him.
Hello.
Let's just woohoo. I mean, maybe we just dip our toe into the
Harpy?
waters. I don't know. Yeah,
Spinorf.
Septo, Tachatuni.
we're gonna see what we can do with this guy.
Shalbo, Barlini Yorid. Oh, Boogie Lagan. Babadeso, Yanabi.
Here, let's do another prank.
Sawubi, Blurky,
Oh.
Yazarza.
Let's see if he likes the hand buzzer like everyone else did. Let's see.
Yips.
He liked it. Okay, cool. We know that
Absolutely.
that's something. Let's exchange
Sugar.
numbers.
Aw.
Oh, he's pessimistic. Misery loves company. Looks like Leilani just befriended a pessimistic Sim. Pessimists have a very glass half empty view of life. They never fail to see the negative side of things. That's why he's so sad. I think that is her preference. Cause she's just very like, haha. She's just like, hee hee. Bamboozled by the buzzer. Fuck it, we'll just say yes.
Your class, Sacranario Abinor.
Express admiration. Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Rouge, skiba.
Slew for clave.
Never.
Hey, Yun Zaruga.
I'm flattered, but I'm
Social
not really
Avenue.
interested in that type of
Risla
relationship with you. But I would be happy if you would like to be friends. We just got rejected.
Simonis arrow.
Blanca core cool. Nasty beeflina.
Never did he just go back
Sonus
away.
arrow. Chippany. Hapanor.
Habanor.
So.
Lampima.
Yeah, maybe you should leave.
Glory.
Maybe it's time for you to go
What's
home.
up,
If
dude?
you're not gonna have sex with me.
Ah, Bombadoy.
Oh. Let's see.
Vispadrobo. Shoot
Let's see. What if we can ask him?
Yobamativo.
Who's this?
Hibine.
Swimming in my beach.
Trip, huh?
Samaria.
Ishinoi. Fioba? Saru, huh?
I'm not interested in woohoo with women. Not me projecting myself onto this gay man. Push him in the water. But we're learning that he's a queer. And honestly, it kind of tracks. But you can go home now. We don't need any more gay friends. We're looking for a man in finance. 6'5", blue eyes. He's gay? Like, damn. Just our luck. He could go home. We can talk to him. Oh, never mind. Not during Pride Month. Live your truth, gang. Yeah. Let's not try to have a lavender marriage with someone. Chonky just sleep. Let's fill the bowl. Let's call him to eat. Chunky had a day. Yeah, he needs a little nap. Okay. That means that's it. We're gonna have to just... I think we're just gonna have to deal with the woohoo or the unsatisfaction. We can't even invite him over. He's not even an option. Luke is somebody we fought with, but maybe we're in a toxic situation with him. We became friends with him after. Same thing with Haruto. We made up for our crimes. Should we break the marriage? Should we break up the marriage? We have options. None of these people are really interesting. Face. Actually, let's do this. This is easier to find people. Oh, you're busy. Let's see. Send flirty selfie. Okay. Let's see what options we have. Is that flirty enough? It's because he's out there unsatisfying other women. Call another man over. You know what? That's so real. Let's break this relationship up. Rangi. I don't really know if he's a baddie enough for us. Should we just... Guys, wait. Homeboy with the wig is not a homo like the rest of us. He's married to Candela, and she... It's giving... Can we ask this guy to come over? Here, let's see what this is like. Good compatibility. About Paka Ua. Ha. I don't know how to. We love a lavender marriage in action. True. Maybe we just. Maybe that's it. Maybe we just. We really can't invite him over. So let's do it. Let's just invite this guy over. I got money on my day off. We love to see it. Ask on. No, can I plan stay over? No, I don't want him to stay over. I want him to just come over. Social. Travel. No. There should be an invite over to hang out. Maybe he's already Oh, he's at a meetup and I wasn't invited. Oh, he's at a meetup at the beach and I wasn't invited. So that's what's happening, is that I'm being excluded for. Who is this? Okay, Lavina, you're a baddie. Should I call him over? Like, he's close enough that I can literally go. That's why I couldn't invite him. There's a party happening and I'm feeling a little excluded. Like, gasp. I'm feeling a little like, maybe y'all don't want me here at the beach. There's 2 Harutos, by the way. This is David. I think they're married. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, wow. He has a baddie for a wife. That's crazy. Let's see what happens when I do that.
Ooh, Vips Wabby.
Oh, she's on the run. She is gonna crash that party. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Wait, the romantic relationship between Leilani and Mauricio has fizzled away. Yeah, because he's unsatisfying me. He's dissatisfying me. That's what it is. Fuck it. We're just gonna have to find a new man. She's on a mission. She said, y'all excluded me far too long. Where is he? Heartfelt compliment. Let's see, let's see. Let's see. Girl, now why would you put that trash there?
Oh, Nerfa.
Now, what if you wanted to date me?
Oh.
Oh, he liked it. Oh, he wants this. He wants this mischievous poo poo. He wants this mischievous poo poo. That other guy told him about the woohoo. Yeah, the other guy was like, "Do you know your girl is hitting on me?"
Oh. Mosey girl. Oh.
During Pride Month, yeah, he's like, "Why would you do that to me?" Is that a steak? Oh, it's kava root.
Sloofa Warmba.
Snoofa Warmba. Here, let's flatter.
Silnay. Suflowo Gra. Barnay.
Fuck it. Let's do it.
Gobi. Roshi Tumble.
Say.
Medish.
Oh, he just ignored my question, by the way.
Harvini.
He said yes. Oh, we're woohooing. Oh, it's happening.
Banana.
Janae.
Then they laugh after that when they go. Oh. You know what? So now we can do this. Let's
Lid. On
form a group with him. And then we go back to our house. Oh, we're doing this tonight. Sit together. I'm making him come all the way to my house, by the way. I formed a group with him so he can come over. Girl, screw this party. Why must you swim? Why must you swim? Look at him running. Look at him running to meet me. He's already waiting for me. Where are you going? Where are you going? Wait, share photos. No, no, no. Oh. Honey, why are we walking like that? Discuss interests. Ask to play hide and seek. Wait, where did that go? Hip bump,
Delish Beshna.
ladder.
Uh,
Let's just get flirty. Flirt.
Wow.
Butterzoy. Bobaneth.
Exchange
Mhm.
numbers.
Kipepta.
We're just gonna. He likes to play violin. Oh hell yeah! Our kids are gonna be
Boo-boo.
prodigies.
Siwa.
Farouche.
He's like.
Galna.
Okay. I don't think we're about. Oh sister, I don't think we're about to woohoo. I think we're about to go woohoo. Oh, I can't even woohoo on the bed. We haven't. Oh, because we have no romantic relationship built. Let's see. Keep flirting, keep flirting. Ooh, they're hugging and they're first kiss. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Kiss, 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 kiss. He's not a teen, is he? Okay, cool.
Soy Beefy.
Oh wait, that's kind of cute.
Wadisa. How'd you know his name?
Florid.
Pampo Peluche. Usha Kapoor.
Okay, but can you
Norwell
woohoo?
Grob.
Woohoo.
Bo Peach.
Let's see. Let's see. Let's
Corzini
see.
Saquinari.
Waxa.
Oh, he said, sure. Let's woohoo. Where are they gonna woohoo though? Look at him walking. It's happening, guys. All right, I want to try for baby immediately. We're just gonna have a baby, and we're like, it was an accident. I really want a kid. The toddlers are so. That's a. I'm about to woohoo. There's some pegging involved for sure. Let's see. Maybe first kiss. Okay, she is happy. She is happy with him. They are. They're compatible. You're just gonna eat after. You know what? That's so real. Totally digging me. You have to use the bathroom. Can we try for baby? We can't. Become partners in crime? Wait, let's do that. He's gonna die. Watch. He's gonna fucking die. Try for baby. Period. Period! Dude, I'm right here. Is he right here? There's something in there. I think you'd be a perfect contestant at Love Highland. Nah, that's not my tea. That's not my tea. Maybe another air. You'll be up against another hopefuls. No, not right now. I'm very busy. I'm busy trying to get pregnant with your baby. Look at her. She is like, I am confident. This guy likes me. He wants this. Steamy romance dynamic. Ooh, it's awfully warm in here. And Leilani and Paka can't seem to keep their hands off of each other. Hell yeah, they're steamy. Steamy. Oh yeah, he's not topping with here. Yeah, that's a bottom. That's a bottom. He's topping for the baby. They're laughing about it.
Bit of Wix. Neat child.
They're
Them
partners in
boys.
crime. They can now
Twins.
plan pranks
Exactly.
together. Wait, I kind of live. Wait,
Well
maybe this
behaved
is
for ya.
a match
Sir
made.
Jim. How
Uh-huh.
finesse.
Plan to wrap
Yes.
bacon around everything? That's so fucked. Are they gonna do it? Are they gonna do it? Look at them. Look at them walking. They're walking the same. He got a little sugar in his tank. Okay, okay. Will we get pregnant? That's the vibes. Here, let's get some to that. Let's see. Are we pregnant? Are we pregnant? We might ask him to live with us, because why not? And we'll give him a makeover. Fuck it. Pee like a champion. Yeah, she is feeling it.
With Meg.
Alright, let's see. Not pregnant! And just like that, we are gonna have to try again. We are gonna have to try again. Failed to conceive. Wait, no, don't be sad. That's so sad. Second time's a charm. We'll just try again. She's so sad. She's like, my dreams of becoming a parent.
Seminario, Benjamin Before. Roslapa, e boy a play for staff. Pelagum no shore, Lucci. Smishy Lafana, Flamibi.
Can we try again?
Simona
Because
Sarah,
that time didn't work.
Evelyn. Pashushi, Arabe Fed.
Yeah, let's try again. Alright. They try it again. Use. And what are you chirping about? Alright, did you have a baby this time? Up in the sky. Up. Oh, honey. Love that for us. He's just like, you already see me naked. I got a shower. She broke it before the test. Literally, she was like, maybe I should break it for fun.
Beautiful Crambo.
Appa-doop-a-doo. Oh, not the clogged toilet. She said, wait. I had to
Shrofa Nasiba. Pankira Puek to do.
Alright, take your
Good
present
boy,
first
yeah.
and use.
Pankira Puek to do. Beautiful Cram.
Let's go! We're pregnant! Nice. She's gonna tell him. We did it! We did it, Joe!
Sweet boo.
Okay. Let's modify and cast. We gotta... The glow up is real. Okay? We need to get him glowed up. Babies! Yeah, toddlers are so fun.
You'll say.
I'm... Oh, it's a bouncy walk? Oh, you can give him multiple walks. I like the bouncy walk. Creepy walk. Let him walk like this. I like bouncy walk. He's like friendly. Let's see what his... He's a mermaid! Did we just... Are we about to have a baby with a mermaid? You're joking. I'm sick. Contest. What was I gonna do? I was about to look something up, and now I'm not remembering. Oh yeah, there you go. Why do I have to set a new password? So
Oh.
Okay. That's what I was checking. What time I have work today. Um, he's a friend of the world. Oh, so he's nice. Gift giving, basics, argumentative. Ooh, he's toxic. Preppy fashion, boho fashion, rascals. Dislikes alternative music, green. Girl, she's all
Huh.
about green. We're about to change that. We're gonna say he likes green.
Huh. Ha ha! Ah.
Why do you have preferences on hair? Wait, that's so crazy. Child of the ocean, answer the call. Simmons with this trait will prefer water-related activities. Okay, cool. Well, it's gonna be live on the beach. This guy, yeah, and he's a goofball, so he likes to be mischievous with us. All right, let's edit him a little bit. Let's give him different hair. Oh, hun. Ooh, this hair. What if it was like this? Ooh, well, this is what he had, right? Oh, interesting. I have new hair. Oh, there's a new base game hair.
Ooh.
Oh, what? Wait, since when? That's a good hair. I'm just realizing that that's new hair. I feel like this is a good hair. He's like, I hate brown hair. Has brown hair. Updo. Let's see what any good updos. Nah. Oh, maybe something like this. His face is so pretty. He is so pretty. Face. I guess he's a mermaid. I guess that tracks. Alright, I like this hair. I think this hair works. Maybe we'll give him a mustache or something. This is so, his face is so pretty. Oh, this is cute.
Huh.
It's giving MBTs. It's giving MB. That beard is too thick for someone like him. This is fine. I think this is good. These eyelashes, though, like, you better. I kind of like this. He's a mermaid, so I think he should be a little bit more, like, fit, right? Because all he does is swim. Let's, like... Okay. Let's change his fits around. He was wearing orange pants, right?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Ah.
These are cute.
It was great.
Apparently, I've never... Hey, Michael, remember that one summer I slept over 2 nights and you showed me all your Sims? Dude, Sims is so great. Michael, how are you? Michael, get your check-in. How you doing, Migs? I miss you so much. I want to hear all about Portugal. Guys, Michael went to Portugal, saw Bad Bunny.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, the facial hair already gets applied. Oh, I love that. Okay, let's do earrings. I feel like he's a dangly earring kind of gal. Streets, off the streets, take me off the streets. I forget which one is just the one earring. I wish I could decide if it's one ear or the other. Maybe no earrings. How about that? Okay, cool. I had hell of a time. The concert was amazing, of course. Very hilly city, though. Oh, hey, King! Louder than the rest. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. And I was like the shortest guy ever. No way were you shorter than everyone. My ass would have been so short then. Actually, that's a good shirt. Let's just change his pants for formal. Look at that cute little butt. I think he would wear sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give him a watch. Let's make him cute. You know what I mean? If he's gonna be our baby daddy. No shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And we can do short pants. Ooh. Oh, hiking gear. I cannot wait to get into that. Honestly, this is a good fit. Let's just change these to green. Yeah, period. Sleepwear. Party wear. Wait, this is not a bad shirt, but no, that was bad. Can you know what to say?
Oh.
Because they live on the beach, like. I know. Maybe no t-shirt. Crop top? It's giving crop top. What to do? Tell me that you want.
Ooh.
Are you done? Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm so sensitive. Tell me that it's mine. I like this jacket a lot. And then very simple, very easy. And look at that. And just like that, we've changed him. He's music lover too. Okay, let's change his mermaid. Like, this is not who I want him to be as a mermaid. You know what I mean? Let's change his skin. Wait, what's the complexion? Oh. Okay, that's fine. Now it's matched. Okay, it matches. Yeah, I want to change, like, the eye makeup to be something else, you know? It is. Yes, it is. Oh. Ooh. It is. Yes, it is. That is mine. And then how do we fix his tail? Oh, fin. Ooh, what if we did something like this? Yes, we'll make it purple. You know what? This is it. Oh, this is unique. Unique? What a glow up. I think so too. We should give him some tats. Body. Body, yaddy, 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 yaddy. Tattoo.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they changed the tattoos to be like. Not the henna. Mine. Is it mine? Is it mine? I like that. Can we change the color? There you go. Ooh. Oh, we can't change the hue. I guess he would have a tat like this.
Ooh.
Not the dragon tat.
Oh.
I don't mind that. Is there chest? Stomach? Stomach tattoo. Actually, this is better than the arm tap.
Oh.
I like that chest tap better. What a glow up. I think so too. All right, period. And just like that, we have a new man. Ooh.
Shoot.
Oh, he's fighting with the cat. All right, and we're pregnant and Ant. I'm excited.
Trip Nebo. Moochie Peachy.
Reveal deep secret. Do you have something to tell me?
Darboing Yababarf?
Rockstar.
Honestly, we should just ask him to move in.
What's down?
Oh, so funny. Prank. Oh. Plan to lure Olama into the workplace. Let's do that.
Lustish, Garthura.
Share big news.
Spino
Me?
Honestly, let's just be friends with this guy. This is our soulmate. He's childish. We're definitely no wonder why he was swimming like everyone else. Yeah, literally. Maybe they're all mermaids.
Slick.
Maybe they're all mermaids. Oh, he's leaving. Okay, bye. You know what? It's 6 a.m. I should go to bed. I have work in 4 hours. Should I take another day off? Let's do it. Yeah, you're not meant to be because... Why does he have different face paint on? Becca Clark. Yeah, we became friends. And, I was just not his tea. Let's take another vacation day. Why not? Guys, I'm pregnant and I won't be coming into work today.
Zafron. It's a verb. An over Orna.
Oh, she is happy. She's like, I'm pregnant and I don't really feel like coming in. Good luck, Charlie. What else do we have? Oh, we still have to raise our mischief level. Okay, we're level 4. Is there anything else we could do for mischief? Read a skill book. But why would I read a skill book? called the long con, right? Let's read. And then honestly, let's finish doing this.
Sorbin.
Girl. Guys, we've been obsessed with Pop Mart and like Hirono's. Girl, chill. You got a baby in there. Like, W reading? At least she knows how to read. We're honestly gonna just have a chill day. It's a rainy, hot, warm day. All these people swimming here. Look at her. Oh, she's so comfortable. Yeah, let's make her comfortable. Oh, she finished that book in a second. She said, I will not be reading this. Oh, she's sick. Morning sickness? Throw up. Use. Then we can do all our chores. Clean coop. Collect eggs. Feed Momo and Ark. We had to feed Momo and we had to feed Ark. On and on. Speed and down. Oh, she's just knitting. She's just knitting. Look at her. Look at her go. In the rain? How relaxing. Oops. What a cool... Not him scratching my bed. Oh, you bet. Oh, no. Like, this is such a cute little... Look at her. Just rocking in her rocking chair. We love our little air. Alright, we're done knitting. Just to go out in the rain. Oh, we should probably do laundry, but it's raining. It won't dry. Did I pay my bills? I think I did. Dry clothing, no more knitting. From bored by knitting. I'm sick. She was like, I'm kind of over this shit. Okay, we did pay our bills. And then let's feed Ark as well. Oh, a hatchable egg. Let's do that. Incubate in coop. We're gonna get a new baby. Okay, who wants to be the new chicken?
A Nermal! A Nermal!
Nermal, Nermal.
Nushi 4. Ski a normal. Ski a normal.
Oh, I know what we can do. Sit. Let's send a chain letter to our ex. This raises our
Droid.
mischief.
William.
Not Chonky's scared of You do realize that by sending me the chain letter, you've probably exposed my email to countless spam email lists, right? I get buried in emails already. This was absolutely the last thing I need in my life. Well, you were a bad woohoo partner. And that's that. And now what? And now look at you. Now I'm having a baby. She's uncomfortably wet. She's about to not be bored anymore. Let's see. I want to raise my skill. Let's see. How fast can we raise it? No. She got bored of it. Oh, she is pregnant.
Slarfa.
Slarpa. Flarpa, flarpa. The rainy day on the beach. I heard you became friends. Oh, we're more than friends, honey. We're lovers. Have lunch. Let's have a faux BLT. Neighborhood reconnaissance. Let's do that. Let's be nosy. Damn, it's pouring. Look at her go. Oh, she's such a cutie with her little baby bump. Level 8 of cooking? Oh, we're a master chef. Girl, you have to eat that. Alright, we're being nosy. We're being nosy. Oh, it's a mischief skill. Let's go. I love how she's just out in the rain because she can be. Spying success. Oh, she clocked their tea. Logic skill. Don't you dare eat my food, you stupid raccoon. Logic level 2. Alright, go eat. She can watch TV while she eats. She's soaking wet, by the way. Oh, she's watching Love Island. Oh no, she's watching Grey's Anatomy. Something stinky. Clean out. Got some money. Alright, we have to go to work tomorrow. Here, I'll clean that up for you so you don't have to. Why can't I throw it away? There you go. Oh, she is not happy. Here, let's... She's already tired. Use... Take a shower. And honestly, let's rock. Oh, this is a cute fit. Oh, look at her. Just relaxing. Wait, I'm kind of obsessed with her. She's like, it's rainy. I'm relaxing. She's gonna go to bed. She's like, I'm tired. I'm pregnant. I'm tired. Gotta go to bed. She is so cute. We love Leilani. She's in bed early. Oh, she gonna wake up early too. She's in her second trimester. Oh, 4 hours. 4 hours till second trimester. He's tense. Why? He's scared. He's scared of something. The lightning and thunder, by the way. Bro, it's raining outside. Why would you go relax?
Rebix.
You know, spoiled food. And maybe it's 3:30. Ali, would you wake up at 3 a.m. for like a craving? Let's have applesauce and then go back to sleep. Oh, she threw up. I'm sick. Let's have her throw up again. Flush and then clean with vigor. She has to go. She's like, I'm gonna fucking puke. No, but I would wake up a lot to use the potty. Oh, look at her. Look at her just yakking. Girl, you're gonna have to clean that up. That toilet is disgusting.
Shirobi! Sure!
Oh, it's already flushed? Okay, cool.
Wanu?
All clean, all clean, all clean. Damn, it's storming. Why'd she change? Where are you going? No, 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 no. Hey! Oh, no. You're not scratching my bed, girl. Scratch something else. No scratching my bed, buddy. Eggs and toast. Why not that? Lightning and thunder. Scared of thunderstorms. She's scared of everything. Live alone. She likes cooking, yes. And who's this? No, girl. We were no contact. We were no contact. I'm also at work. Okay, back. How's the lavender marriage going? Well, we're not married yet. But we're definitely pregnant. We are definitely pregnant. Oh! Look at her in her instant. And our ex is at our door. Being nosy. Excuse me. Ryan, how's work today? Yeah, literally, our ex is at the door waiting for us. Oh, put that man on vacation. I'm about to kill him. Destroy objects. Answer with like, hey. Oh, we have tons of chores to do. Look at these plants. Weed area. Water all. It's still rainy. She has all these chores to do. Oh yeah, pull out your big weeder. She is on her chores. Look at her. Wait, what? We start at 10, right? Oh, okay. So I was up all early throwing up and shit. I'm home. You had a dentist appointment today? Oh, nice. Okay, nice. Did you stream yesterday? I had a 9-hour guys. I had a 9-hour shift yesterday.
Neat
Till, I
boy.
didn't leave the restaurant till 10:45. I got home at 11. It was a long ass day, and I have work again today at 2 o'clock. Oh, she's making food. Oh, you know what? She's making French toast. You know what? Breakfast for dinner? That sounds like a vibe. Oh, girl, 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 wait! No! Hold on. Wait! Extinguish. Go back. Is this our baby daddy? Baby daddy, come over here. Who is this? Oh my, who are you? Wait. Guys. No name, by the way. He's a firefighter.
Been day.
Let's do respect. They changed romantic. They changed the flirty interaction to romantic, which I wish it was just flirty. Friendly. Let's be nice. Maybe somewhere in the future. We're gonna have to replace all our shit. We're still starting fires after all this time. And what's your name, sir? Oh, he doesn't have a name. I want to know who you are.
Pain trip. Me Shephanie.
Quo say bow.
And who are you? Also,
Soda.
I didn't
Oh,
put
no.
face paint on him, so I don't know why he has face paint. He can extinguish the fire in this, but yeah, exact. Well, we gotta give the baby a sibling. Well,
Muy
yes.
still Quopa.
I did not put this face paint on him. I only wanted that for his mermaid form. But I guess I
Ooh.
can't do anything to his face only in the mermaid form, so. Oh, he's just doing anything. Yeah. Maybe we could be a thruple. I wish Sims would do that. Maybe we could be a thruple. I'm just being chaotic.
Oh, I hope.
Somebody's clapping. Somebody clapped and laughed at the fire.
Uchi Peachy's a feast. Flimon.
Alright, send home.
Moishi Fiba Fwabe.
Where did my baby daddy go? He ain't even here anymore.
Tonkapoo Ariba.
It's bugged out, so I don't know your name. Hold on, let's see what his name is.
So.
And who this? He doesn't have a name. Hmm. Yeah, get out of my house then if you don't have a name. No, don't grab yogurt. Don't grab yogurt. Don't grab yogurt. Don't grab yogurt. Dog. Fine, I guess you can grab yogurt. At least it stopped raining. Let's clean the coop and collect eggs too. Let's make a grilled cheese. Oh, we're almost at Supercell. No hatchable eggs. Gah. Ark and Momo just not giving me any hatchable eggs. We have a lot of things going on. Okay, we have some tasks.
Yigla.
Oh, he's back. Does he turn into a mermaid? Turn into a mermaid. Turn into a... He has a boat? Guys, he has a boat. I think we picked the right one. The other guy doesn't even have a name, let alone a boat. And what are you doing here? Oh my god. Our ex is back to... Send home. Get out of my house. You're no longer allowed here. We've moved on. Yeah. Hi Ash, welcome in. Wicked Whims does that, just saying. Oh. Wait, does what? Wicked Whims does that. Does what? True. That's true. Interesting. Wicked Whims what? Removes names? I don't even have Wicked Whims mod active right now. Okay, who's this? I like making friends with random townies. Who's this? Victoria Trujillo? She Dominican. I'm not black. Soy I got to the point that I can only play with the... No, I like Wicked Whims. I just... It's too risky to play on stream, so I always take it off before stream. I like the, like, menstrual cycle, like the birth control. I like all that. I like the basemental stuff. Like, I like when they actually get drunk and, like, that they have, like, actual alcohol and stuff and drinks. Oh, so I have Wicked Whims. Yeah. Yeah, I love Wicked Whims. I love the drugs and alcohol. That's fun. And then, I just wish Wicked Whims was a little easier to set settings, because, like, I hate some of the settings on Wicked Whims. Like, I hate the Peeping Tom. Oh, is that who he is? Do you think it's a bug to Peeping Tom, and because I had Wicked Whims in, it just loaded a random townie with no name now? I hate the Peeping Tom. It's so irritating. Yeah, time for bed, girl. She did a lot today. Oh, for sure. Ash, how are you doing today? Can you imagine? Stream is so great. I lied. I stream with Wicked Win on for legacy challenges, but it's preferred for real. Oh, yeah. I love Wicked Whims. I used to have this one mod that was like a preschool mod. So you could send your toddlers and like send your toddlers to school so that they can build skills. So they... Oh. She has to throw up. I throwed up. Oh, poor girl. She's so hella pregnant. Let's polish first and then use it. F-U-C-K-M. Thank you. My mod folder used to be 13 gigs. Oh, this diva. So yeah, I would send my little toddlers off to preschool. What's this? Friend balance. A sim who leads a close-knit lifestyle. Leilani needs to keep things in balance. Too few friends is lonely. Too many is hectic. Things don't feel in balance. Do we have too many friends?
Mala snifa.
I still want to know who this is. I think it is a peeping Tom. Wait, where's the baby gonna sleep? Right over here. Guys, are we gonna have to edit the house once the baby arrives? I think the baby's coming, like, in the next day.
Baby.
No, girl, we're not eating. You have to clean the toilet, and you're going right the fuck back to sleep. I like a lot of hair and like clothing mods too. I try not to use like too many modded like casts. Oh, I can take family leave. Hatchable egg. Let's go hatch the egg. Hatch eggs. Collect eggs. And clean coop. Go right outside. She is hella pregnant. Pregnant. Look at her. She's huge. That office is gonna have to go. True, that could be the baby room. We could add a second floor, maybe.
Oosh, oosh.
Oh, little baby chick. Okay, who wants to be the chick? Look at it. That you can keep. I can't play right now. Why? Oh, because you're PC? Okay, no hatchable egg this time. Momo and Ark had a baby. Alright, who wants to name the chick after them? Who wants me to name the chick after them? Oh, what this?
Ronnie Bonil.
What's
Viva.
that? Is that a part? She is uncomfortable. What's wrong? Oh. We're gonna have to water all this. Water all. Sell all. Nothing with bugs, right? Yeah. Okay, then we can eat. Oh, it's an upgrade part. We have work in an hour. We're not gonna be able to eat. It's gonna take too long to do the flowers, the plants. I saw that, Mr. Raccoon. All up in there. Oh. Original sentences every day. What do you mean? What did I say? What is it? Why do you look like that? Who's this? Howe. Oh, Howe. You know what? Maybe we do have time to eat. Let's see how fast she can cook. Go, 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 go. Tortilla rack veggie dog at 9:45 in the morning. You know what, pregnant lady? Do what you want. Oh. She's having a tortilla send alone, but she needs to eat first. So she's gonna eat first. Okay, where's the chick? Who wants to be the chick? Who wants to be the chick? Did anyone claim it? Love being seen because of minor 15 gigs. Ew. Okay, Miss Popular. Yeah, she's like, I need friends. 15 gigs is crazy. David, when I was pregnant. Do what you want, girl. Alright, let's name the little chick. Rooster chick. Who wants to be the rooster? Bumping purses didn't work, I fear. Literally. Ryan, do you want to be their baby? Allie, do you want to be their baby? Actually, let's be... Ash, do you want to be their baby? Sa. Rosa. My mental health is saying no to being their child. That's fair. Okay, I'm gonna... Allie, we named a chicken earlier in the stream in the Let's Play coffee, so let's name this an Ash. Oh shit. Oh, and she's outdoorsy. She's cooped up like a chicken. Oh, she's at work. She didn't finish cooking, by the way. All right. Well, is the trash can broken? Oh, cuz she's not home. You volunteer tribute, period. Honestly, me as fuck 1 minute to work, like, I hate being here. Alright, we're about to end work. I think we're having a new technologies. Pioneer to look at that. And new clothes. Next shift is Friday. Okay, so we have a shift tomorrow, but we're gonna have a baby, so I think we're gonna be off. Look at all these people showing up to my house. Honestly, let's take that food. Discuss healthy relationships. Fire up. Send home. Let's collect eggs. Sorry to have missed you. No, you guys are still here. Can you leave the food on the floor? Arabe. Oh, is this meat? Oh, it's pork. Girl, I can't eat that. We're gonna eat this resume that. She is so uncomfortable. Look at this. Look at her needs. Oh, she's just tired. It has to be. Hatchable, hatchable. No hatchable eggs. Wow, they really don't want me to have more chickens. Let's see if she'll have this baby. Give birth in question mark. We'll end stream once the baby is gone. Look at that. There's a sink right here. No, this is kitchen sink. Bathroom sink. Oh, she has so much laundry. Honestly, search pockets. We're gonna have to do the laundry, even though it's raining outside.
Oh.
Fuck it, I don't care. Have dinner. She's gonna be up late tonight. Let's do a fake meat casserole. She has to do laundry. She has to do laundry in the rain. Sorry, girl. She is exhausted.
Oh.
Guys, what is gonna happen to the baby? Once the baby is gone? Once the baby's gone? Born. Did I say gone? Once the baby's born. OMG, a second pregnancy, I get. Oh no, she had to eat so healthy. And, oh my god, what? Then when I had her in the hospital, lasagna, it's like, you might not want.
Oh.
Why are people so annoying? Allie, how do you have so many of these experiences? What are they doing over there in upstate New York? No, not. I meant like when the pregnancy's over, more like it. You know. Girl, no, one at a time. And hopefully it stops raining. Why are people so rude to you over there? I did not like that nurse, but her shift was overnight after that, and my next nurses were so nice. That's good. I'm glad. That's fair. It is upstate New York. It's 11 p.m. She hasn't eaten food. She's exhausted. She's gonna pass out from tiredness. I do need to make sure my UI cheats are on when I play this. She is not happy. Please don't set it on fire. 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 Just make your grilled cheese, please, girl.
Nea.
It's a grilled cheese.
Baroque.
Oh, she's red. Yeah. Let's see how quickly she can eat this. Wow, she's a pro. Just eat it standing up. Swallow it whole, so you can go right to bed. Yum, 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 yum. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You're so close. You're so close, you're so close. Where'd she get the other piece from?
Shusa. Shusa.
Girl, it's a grilled cheese. Oh, she's gonna pass out. Oh my god. The ominous music. The ominous music is because she's literally about to die. I'm near Syracuse. Yeah. Upstate New York is a whole different world, huh? Okay, please. Go right to bed. Come on, make it to bed. Make it to bed. Make it to bed. Hell yes. She made it to bed, guys. Oh, she made it to bed before passing out. It's raining. My clothes are all hung up. They're never gonna dry. Okay, really has to pee. Use. Go, go, go. Oh, it's because her social bar is low. That's why she's having these like existential crises about her friends. Oh. Drove through Syracuse and loved the view, but will not stop there. Let's go back to bed. She is hella pregnant. She's gone into labor. She's having a baby. She's having a baby. Oh no. Wait, we have to change our outfit for this occasion. Change outfit. What's a good... I mean, honestly, this is a comfy outfit she can wear. Have baby at hospital. Let's join her. And let's tell our baby daddy to come. Oh, and maybe our gay friends. Honestly, Oleana... Oh, we only have one invite to the hospital, by the way. Where's the baby daddy? We're bringing him. We're bringing him. And the firefighter. Yes, you're right. One invite? What is this, COVID? Yeah, literally. Okay. I definitely also created a new hospital somewhere that I have to find. Oh, unless this is it. Wait, did I make this? I think I did make this. I did make this hospital. Guys, I made this hospital and I didn't even remember. Not the front of the hospital being over here, and then I made the checking... Oh, I made 2 check-in counters. Okay. No, don't clean. Why are they only at this side? Checking at front desk. Hurry up. Hurry up, girly. Okay, he is freaking out. Getting in line. You better come over here. Has to be invited into the hospital first? Excuse me? Walking through the whole hospital to check in.
Dad?
Zed. Umpetosh.
I'm having a baby? Where do I go?
Oh. What is that?
Oh no, she's freaking out. And somehow my baby daddy's nowhere to be found. Oh, I do remember making this. Somehow. And who this? He left. Can I check in? Did it work? I'm very uncomfortable, girl. I'm a patient.
Huh.
Where did I go? Where are you going? Oh, are the operating rooms upstairs? Why have I done this? Why have I done this? Oh, here we go. Here we go. It's happening, guys. Oh, it's happening. It's happening. I don't know where my man is, but it's okay. We had a baby. Not the laser into my belly. Into my uterus. Yep. Just like in a pen. It's a girl! Guys, it's a girl. What should we name her? Guys, what should we name her? She was about to have the baby on the floor, like literally. Joyce? A girl? Little baby girl. Azur? Ooh, Azur's in Justina. You know what? That's so real. Or Justine. Should be Justine. Nah, Justine is better. Justina. Justina Tacomo. If you guys remember, their last name is a combo of Taco and Momo. Justina Tacomo. Period. A little baby. Oh, stop! Our girl is a mom. This makes me so happy. Oh. Okay, I think it's time to go home. She is like, damn, my body hurts. Not even a wheelchair to get her out. Okay, she went back to her crop top. Get it, mama? That's what she was wearing. Oh no, that's not what she was wearing. Alright, let's do some editing of the house to make room for the baby. I hear the crying, but where is the baby? Oh, it fits in the room. Oh, it's in a seashell. Wait! It's a mermaid. Oh, it's a mermaid. Hold on. I think it's a mermaid. I think it got the mermaid gene. Oh, I can't even look at the infant because she's too small. I was like, it's deaf on the porch. Outside as fuck. Alright, let's do some editing of the house. Make room for the baby. I think we're gonna also call Paco. I don't know his name. And we're gonna here, look what we're gonna do. Everything's paused. Let's turn on all lights. And let's also invite Paca. Invite. Because why did you abandon me at the hospital? Sit. I'll be gone. Is he coming? Yes, he's right there. Okay. Good, your baby's home. We're gonna have to invite him. That's it. We're gonna have him move in.
Flea Mo.
Asked to join household, yeah. They'll be like living partners.
So? Oh, Georgia. Oh, Neebs, Shaben Una.
Neebs. All lighting up the world.
Rooms to stay.
Ah, Kim
Hey,
Noob.
what's up, bro? Just had your baby. I,
Sabaliosa.
I love how her
Ah,
legs
sure,
just
sir.
like, yay. And we got $20,000. Period. I'm not mad at it.
Oh, please.
Great. Now we have a full household. All right. Let's go into build mode. Can I be honest? We might just I think we're gonna take this door out so that this can be a little bit bigger. I don't like this area here. Like, I think this is a waste of my space. We'll put the baby in the beach for now. She never uses this, so let's sell that. We need to put this over here. I want to keep this, but for the party girls, all lighting up the world. I, I, I. And then we're making the nursery. Where did I put the baby? Oh, right here. Like, putting the nursery at the front of the house feels kind of dangerous. Am I wrong? American girls. Honestly, these paintings are too big. Around the world. I like the girls who like to party. Let's put a door there. Let's get rid of this crap. The girls we like to party. I guess she doesn't need this shit. Save some money. I think we'll still put the litter box. That was easy. We'll just make the kids' room that office. I don't know what. This is just a hallway at this point. Let's put her here. Not being 100% with your baby off the get-go. Yeah, literally, like, fully like, okay. We're not cool, literally. I don't think Nola liked me when I couldn't get her to stop. Aww. He was like, girl, she just came out of you. Like, she doesn't even know where she's at. She doesn't even know she exists. Void Bop. Oh, look at the bear. Oh, it's so ugly. It's so adorable. I want this. Let's do some pink, I guess, right? Oh, white is cute. Let's get a little... It's like the baby doesn't even need on any of this stuff. Baby's first rug. Stop. Is there a water one? Like maybe a fish? No. I was looking for stuff like this. Baby genius. Oh, look at that. So cute. And then a baby changing basket. I love all the baby stuff. Like, look at that shit. It's so cute. Um, what else can we put in here? Little dinosaur rug. Stop. Oh, it's bunnies. Wait, let's do that. Can I choose the color of this? Yeah. We'll just do a little pink and green situation. I think that's cute. And then the changing table. Look at all this stuff here. There you go. All the furniture. We can't change the bassinet, but we're gonna do a changing table. So cute. Do you think they fit in this room though? Do you think they'll be able to get in and out of this room? I think so. That's cute. Cute little baby room. Literally cute little baby room. Postpartum with Nola was so hard, but when I had a little Mac, I had like Ronnie and Taco and the communities. Oh, Allie. I remember. Wait, I feel like I met you right after you had your baby too. Or maybe I was just like learning that you just had a baby really recently. Something like that. Let's move the window over here and then let's do this here. So cute, so cute. And then I'm gonna get that little critter toy. Oh, it's a oh wait. I love the kids. Like this is really what I wanted. I just wanted to have Rattle completing the decorative eggs collection. What's that? Where's the little guy? Where is the toy that I was like, oh, this is cute, and of course now I don't have it. All right. I guess we're gonna do one of these little guys because I can't find my little critter. Look at him, so cute. Wait, maybe we need a side save or something. Oh, this is huge. Is there not something small? Fuck it. No room. Yeah, I think Kevin rated you one time and I followed, but when I was on maternity leave, I was way more interactive. Oh, Ria and I became besties because she was job hunting and I was on maternity leave, so we just played games together. That's so sweet. I know that you guys are so close, and I was like, oh, I love that they have such a deep friendship. You guys are so close. I think that's it for now. All right. This is it. New family update. Oh, wait, can we put these down? Oh, they're still soaked. All right. And she is frustrated. We love to see it. Have a new baby daddy, new roommate situation. He lives here now. Baby's in here. Show off to The dad. Let's see. Let's see.
Ulak! Fanjip Santa Fe.
Listen to rumor.
Oh, gal neck. Smaps Rooney. A Mookie Groba.
Oh, nice.
Arbin Dufour.
Pick up the baby. He's like, I have a baby? Little Mermaid family, literally.
Groball! Ugh. Hello, Mish!
Why is she so upset?
Uh-huh.
I don't understand why she's so mad. Awkward encounter. Why? Why are you being awkward? Because he doesn't want to see the baby?
Oh, Voby.
Finally.
Shows you Maya Kloof.
Look at the baby.
Oh, Bolafoy.
Oh, so sweet.
Yunkin Nibs.
That's my
Michelle.
baby. No, we're gonna interact with the baby. Stop! She's
No,
so
Bubba.
cute!
Logie.
Stop! This is so cute. How wholesome. Is he a deadbeat dad? Maybe we'll kill him.
Oh, no, me still.
Oh!
Sabrina.
Oh, she's so happy! Chunky, you have a sibling. Alright, y'all. This was fun. We made some progress today on her aspiration. Maybe we'll kill him. Who knows? Thank you guys for being here today. This was a fun I'm glad we got to like redo stream from yesterday because literally like I was so sad about stream crashing on me yesterday. I'm so happy that we were able to like continue this let's play. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me this morning. Into the afternoon. It's already 1 p.m. I have to eat like lunch before I head to work today. Oh, Paris is on. Okay, we're gonna raid Paris because Paris has been streaming during the day and I've just been at work so I can't watch and hang out. So I'm gonna make sure to raid Paris. I think it's like this. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let's go hang out with Paris. Everybody copy the raid messages and let's go hang out with a friend. I'll be there for a little bit while I make lunch and get ready for work, but I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you so much for supporting the fundraiser. Next week we'll have a better fundraiser. Well, not a better one, but we'll have another one. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to raise more money. I'll be posting my stream schedule later today. This weekend's gonna be kind of busy, so I'm just trying to make sure I organize myself because Friday will be a day stream, Saturday will probably be a night stream, and then Sunday will be a day stream. So just got to be a little organized. And then I start my new job on Monday. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. Stream is so much fun when people are here hanging out with me, and it means so much when people do like give me their time and spend some of their day with me, and it really means a lot. So I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. I hope everyone's having safe driving, safe days, healthy times, and I'll I'll see you guys at the next one. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is so much fun, and I'm so happy we're in love with this Sims Let's Play. I can't wait to keep doing it. I'll talk to you later. Love you.